Hey, hey, hey. Time for the Out of This World story from rSpace. Meet OP, warehouse worker turned human crash test dummy, who got hit by a rich kid's Ferrari, broke his back, and then got run over again by life. Today on rSpace, a Florida wedding fling turned out to be less music mogul and more budget DJ with a god complex. Wife slept with a rich guy because she was tired of being married to me. I divorced her, and he took her everything. Man, life can gut punch you at any time. I, 44 male, and my wife, Alan, 39 female, have been holding it together for 12 years. Have 2 kids, 9 and 5. Not living large, but a decent setup. I've been grinding at the warehouse, pulling in enough to cover our little house, a beat-up minivan, and the occasional pizza night. On the weekend, I worked at a supermarket to help them manage the football and billing. Alan worked part-time at this boutique downtown, which let her be home with the kids. We weren't sipping champagne, but we were good, you know? Then, 2 years ago, some rich moron in a fancy car turned our world into a dumpster fire. I was driving from work and an overspeeding car lost control and slammed into me. Messed up my spine so bad I thought I'd never walk again. The docs said I needed multiple surgeries, pins, plates, the whole deal. I had to spend weeks in the hospital and months in rehab, relearning how to move without feeling like I was being stabbed. The real nightmare was the bills. Holy crap. We're talking 6 figures. Surgeries, meds, physiotherapy. The insurance was a joke, covering maybe a third of it. It's a murky industry. You won't understand how pathetic it is until you experience it. We burned through our savings. Every penny we'd scraped together for a rainy day was gone. The credit cards started racking up. Maxed out all of them. My worst nightmare came true when collection agencies started calling, leaving voicemails that made my stomach churn. We were drowning in debt. I was supposed to take it slow and let my body heal, but we couldn't afford that. I dragged myself back to work 2 months after my last surgery, against the doc's advice. Big mistake. My body wasn't ready. Lifting boxes at the warehouse felt like someone was grinding a screwdriver into my spine. I'd popped painkillers like Tic Tacs, grit my teeth, and keep going, but it slowed my recovery to a crawl. Some days, I could barely stand by the end of my shift. I'd get home and pass out on the couch. No energy to eat or even talk. My daughter would come climb on my lap, begging for a bedtime story, and I'd have to mutter, "Not tonight, kiddo," hating myself every time. My son started acting out, throwing fits, probably because he could sense the tension. I was frustrated all the time due to the nagging pain, but I had to get going for my family's sake. I couldn't even rest on the weekend. Can't lose on my second income. Our lifestyle took a straight-up nosedive. Before the accident, we had some breathing room. Friday nights meant burgers at the diner, maybe a movie. Once a year, we'd rent a cheap cabin by the lake, splash around, make s'mores. Now everything was gone. We canceled cable, ditched Netflix, stopped buying anything that wasn't a must. The kids' soccer league was out. Couldn't afford the fees or the gas to drive to practice. No new clothes for a year. The fridge went from fresh veggies and snacks to bare bones. Store brand cereal, ramen, whatever was on clearance. We stopped having friends over because we couldn't afford to host. And honestly, the house was a wreck anyway. No more date nights or little treats. Earlier, Alan and I used to sneak out for a coffee or a beer just to talk, but now we were too tired and broke. Alan had to step up big time. She went from part-time at the boutique to a full-time office job. It paid better, but it meant she was gone all day. Then had to scramble to get dinner on the table. I promised her I'd fix this. I'm chasing this promotion at work. If I can land it, we'll have some cash flow and she can go back to part-time. But it's a long shot and she's past believing me. She has started getting short, blaming me for our whole messed up life. "If you hadn't gone back to work so soon, maybe you wouldn't be in pain all the time." It hurts because she wasn't wrong, but what was I supposed to do? We were at the point of losing the house because I had defaulted on the mortgage for 4 months. Over the last year, we've been fighting constantly. Every little jab is turning into shouting matches, and I'm too exhausted to keep up. Then this wedding invite came a month back, and it added to our fights. Alan's school friend is getting married in Florida in a lavish 3-day wedding, with all the pre- and post-celebrations. Alan has been dead set on going. The problem is that left me alone with my kids, as we cannot afford a babysitter. Before the accident, I'd have been fine, but now I can barely lift my younger one without my back screaming. My son is a tornado of energy. We can't afford a babysitter, so I begged her to cut the trip short. Maybe just hit the ceremony, skip the extra parties. She shot back aggressively. I deserve the break. We fought for a month over this. Finally, she said her mom would come help with the kids. I agreed, thinking we had a plan. Yesterday, I got home from work, already beat to hell, and the house was a disaster. Toys scattered, dishes piled in the sink, and no dinner. She's standing there with a packed suitcase, ready to bolt. She said, I don't have time to make dinner or clean up the kids. It's on you now. I was gut-punched by the mess. I asked where her mother is, and she replied, Call and check. Then she's out the door, gone. I called her mom, got no answer. I scraped together some mac and cheese for the kids, cleaned them up, got them to bed, all while my back was killing me. No sign of her mom. I was so furious. I called her asking about her mother, and she screamed, Can't you check? Can't you manage for a weekend? I've been doing this alone for years. I was honestly so tired and had no energy left to fight with her, so I focused on the tasks I had at hand. This morning, I woke up to a text from her mom that she's out of town. Furiously, I called her asking how she could ditch us. She said she never agreed to help. I called Alan, pissed, and let her have it. Her response was infuriating. Mom said she'd try. Looks like she couldn't. Just a weekend. Hang in there. I hung up. No good is coming out of talking to her. I called up my manager at the supermarket and called in sick for the weekend. He's obviously pissed at the last minute notice, which frustrated me more. But what can I do? She's off in Florida, probably sipping cocktails while I'm holding the family together with duct tape and prayers. I feel like I'm at the end of my rope, man. It's all too much. I'm 1 inch from saying screw it. I'm walking away from this marriage. The water's hit the ceiling, and I don't know how much longer I can keep swimming. Am I overreacting? How would any of you react to the situation? Edit to add. Let me clarify that it's not just this one incident, but definitely the tipping point. Her relentless nagging is already getting on my nerves. She blames me for everything as if it were my fault that a car slammed into me. Despite my condition, I'm still slogging my butt to pull us out of this mess and looking forward to giving her the life she wants. Looks like she doesn't have the patience. I get that your wife wanted a break, but the way she handled this, that's cold. She knew you were barely holding it together physically and still just bailed, leaving you with the kids and no real plan. You're not overreacting. You've been pushed past your breaking point. You've been holding everything together for too long. And it's okay to admit you can't do it alone anymore. Update 1. Sorry for the MIA for months. I've been dealing with a lot. Picking from where I left off. I was so pissed about her ditching me with no backup. We went at it for days, yelling about how she left me high and dry, but she'd just shrug as if I was irrational. Eventually, I let it go. I mean, what else could I do? Divorce felt too expensive. I was already drowning in medical debt, and I figured maybe she was just burnt out. Between her full-time job and the kids, she was carrying a lot. Maybe she did need that break. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I just had a lot to deal with, then to break my head over her attitude. I expected things would go back to normal. Nope. If anything, they got worse. She started acting like a different person, distant and cold. She'd come home late from work, saying she was hanging with friends. She'd just waltz in and wouldn't even bother with an excuse. I'd ask her to help with the kids, maybe get them ready for bed since I was dead on my feet, and she'd just say, "You got this," and head out again. Would say, "I've done enough for the kids in the house. Time for you to step up." I'd get mad, my voice cracking from the pain and frustration, but she was untouchable. She was unbothered by the condition or my anger. She gave out this fearless, unapologetic vibe, like she'd already checked out of our marriage. Stare me down, eyes like ice, and say, "Can you stop me from living my life?" She knew I wasn't that violent guy. I'd never lay a hand on her, never even thought about it. It was like she was provoking me to do something. It wasn't just her words, it was her whole vibe. That's when it clicked that she was cheating. I didn't want to believe it at first. 12 years, 2 kids, all the crap we'd been through together. I thought we were stronger than that, but the signs were screaming at me. The late nights, the way she'd dodge my questions, the way she'd light up checking her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. I could feel it in my gut, and it was eating me alive. So one night, I couldn't take it anymore. I sat her down, kept my voice steady, and said, "I know you're cheating on me. Don't make this messy. Just tell me the truth, and let's figure out how to end this clean. We're not just a couple, we're parents. Let's do this right for the kids." I was ready for a fight, for her to deny it, but she didn't. She just took a deep breath and spilled it. It came out that she has been effing around at the wedding while I was here holding the house. Apparently, she was smitten by the best man at her friend's wedding. Turned out he was some rich music producer in his 60s. Her friend also married a rich shot and got an upgraded lifestyle. Said, I saw the shift in my friend's life after she got that guy. I thought, why can't I? I'm younger and gorgeous than her. When the best man showed interest in me, I played along. Like, why not? I took him as an escape from this grinding marriage, but his love and pampering couldn't stop me from desiring him more. He makes me feel special in ways you couldn't anymore. Every word was like a knife, but I stayed calm. I'd hit record on my phone just before we started talking, just in case. She didn't even notice. I had to be careful because, being broke, I cannot be stupid. We talked about the kids, and she agreed to joint custody without fight. But then she dropped a bomb. She wanted the house. It's not even paid off. Still got years on the mortgage, but she said her boyfriend could cover it. That was it. She'd already moved on, mentally and emotionally, and I was just stupid to take it so long to understand. I filed for divorce the next week. Didn't have the cash or the energy to fight her on the house. I had to move out defeated. My lawyer said I was at the losing end. Her boyfriend's money gave her the upper hand, and I was too broke to drag it out in court. It's been months now. I'm crashing on my brother's couch, a lumpy old thing that makes my back scream worse than usual. I thought she'd move in with him. Contrary, her boyfriend is over most of the days. It stung to imagine them at my house, in my bedroom. Worse, the kids are there too. She says I can see them whenever, but it's not the same. I don't have a place to bring them over. I feel like a deadbeat, even though I'm trying. Other day, the kids told me that Mom has quit her job and looks happier than she was with me. Honestly, seeing her live the queen-sized life with her new guy is like a stab in the face. She's out there effing around while I'm scraping by, eating ramen on my brother's couch. I keep thinking, karma's gotta catch up, right? But then I see her rubbing it in my face, and I'm like, maybe karma doesn't come for everyone. I'm drowning in depression. I don't even have the time and money to afford therapy. People justifying her cheating forget to consider that marriage is not always sunshine. What about the vows of sticking together in sickness and misery? Yes, she had tough times after my accident, but does that give license to cheat? In my opinion, no. P.S. I may not update further, so don't count on me. You guys know my condition. Thanks for the support, though. The way she rubbed it in, quitting her job and playing house with sugar daddy in your home while you're literally on your brother's couch just shows how little respect she ever had for you. And you're not a deadbeat. You're doing everything you can, but in a brutal situation, with your back literally against the wall. Update 2. Hey guys, I wasn't sure I'd come back for the update. Honestly, I was in such a dark place this year after the divorce, I didn't think I had it in me. Thanks for all the support last time. Those messages kept me going while I felt like I was falling apart. Buckle up, because a lot's happened, and for once, it's not all bad news. After the ex-wife started flashing her new lifestyle, it became hard for me not to slip into depression. Though I focused on my work, still the constant jab haunted me. The depression was like a black hole, sucking every ounce of energy out of me. I'd wake up on my brother's lumpy couch, staring at the ceiling, feeling like a total failure. My back pain got worse, way worse. The stress ate me alive, and my body was paying the price. I was popping painkillers just to get through my shifts at the warehouse, but even that wasn't enough. One day, I'm stacking boxes and my vision starts going blurry. Next thing I know, waking up a week later in the hospital. Tubes everywhere, with the docs telling me I needed another round of spinal surgeries. I was terrified I'd screwed myself up for good, but this is the crazy part. These surgeries actually worked. They fixed something that earlier ones didn't. I collapsed at work, so some part of the treatment was covered by the company. I learned my lesson this time. Didn't rush back to work. Didn't play the tough guy. I lost my part-time job and I didn't sweat over it. I took the recovery seriously. Rested like the docs told me. Did the physical therapy. The whole deal. My body started feeling stronger, like I was getting my younger self back. The real game changer was when I finally got help for my head. I couldn't afford therapy at first. Hell, I could barely afford groceries, but I found a low-cost clinic through a coworker, and I started going. Man, just talking about the weight of the last 3 years, the cheating and the divorce, the guilt over not being there for the kids, it was like letting air out of a tire that was about to burst. Things started looking brighter, like I could see a way out of the mess. I even joined a gym. Yeah, me, the guy that could barely lift his daughter without wincing. Started slow, just walking on the treadmill. Some light stretches. It felt good to move without pain. Work got better too. I threw everything I had into that promotion I've been chasing forever. I started putting in extra hours, and you know what? I freaking got it. The pay bump wasn't life-changing, but it was enough to get me off my brother's couch and into my own place. Rented a small apartment with a room for my kids. I could have them over whenever I wanted. And man, seeing their faces light up when they ran through the door was everything. Then, 3 months back, out of nowhere, ex-wife pulled a stunt that floored me. She up and left the country with her fancy producer boyfriend. Said the kids were getting in the way of her new glamorous life. Can you believe that? She just handed them over to me, like they were an inconvenience. Honestly, I was happy to have them full time now. Now, I was physically and financially strong enough to take care of them. The real sunshine came a week ago. The part that's got me pinching myself. Remember that accident that started this whole nightmare? Turns out the kid who hit me was some 16-year-old punk, drunk out of his mind, driving his dad's Ferrari. For the last 3 years, my lawyer's been fighting to prove it was his fault, not mine. Well, we finally won. The court ordered his family to pay up to $1.2 million. Yeah, you read that right. It's a compensation for all my medical debts, the surgeries, the therapy, plus a chunk for pain and suffering. It hasn't hit my bank account yet, but it's coming. Call me crazy, but I'm already looking to buy a house for my children and my own security. I'm not going to lie, it feels like a dream after all the crap I've been through. I'm not out of the woods yet. Depression's still there, lurking, and raising 2 kids solo while working full-time ain't easy. But now, I feel like I'm not just surviving, I'm hopeful for a brighter future. My kids are with me, my health is better, and that's money that's going to give us a shot at a real future. Maybe karma's not such a myth after all. I'll keep you guys posted if anything else goes down. Thanks again for having my back. Update 3. Yo, what's good everyone? I didn't think it would get any better. Hell, it did, and this one's a doozy. Thanks for all the support on my last post. Y'all's comments really helped me keep my head up when things were looking rough. So that $1.2 million compensation from the accident initially hit my bank account a couple months ago. And let me tell you, seeing that number felt like a fever dream. I'm not out here buying yachts or anything, but I'm on the verge of closing a deal with a realtor. A solid one, with a big backyard for my children to run around in, maybe even a little basketball hoop for my boy. I've been pinching pennies for so long, it's wild to think about a future where I'm not sweating every bill. It becomes difficult to hide anything from ex when you're co-parenting. So when she called next, the kids obviously spilled the beans that dad got a lot of money and we're moving into a big house. She asked me if I had finally gotten the compensation. I said yes. Next, I see an intimation from her lawyer seeking a share of the money. Her logic was that she had also suffered due to my accident, dealing with the bills, the kids, and the stress. Like, are you kidding me? I took that to my lawyer and he straight up laughed in my face when I told him. Said, she's got no claim. The money came after the divorce settlement, and she's not entitled to a dime. He sent her an official response laying it out. She didn't take it well and sent me a bunch of manipulative texts, saying I owed her for holding it together while I was recovering. Held it together? She was off sucking the rich balls while I was limping through life. I didn't even respond. Not worth my energy. Then a few weeks back, she's back in town, living with her cousin. Big shocker, what happened to the house she took after the divorce? Her boyfriend captured it, gave her a chunk of cash, some designer bags and jewelry, and took over the ownership to pay off the mortgage. So at the end, she was left with nothing. And get this, she's back at her old job at the boutique. No more fancy dinners or designer bags, I guess. Of late, she's been coming by my place to see the kids, which I'm okay with. She's their mom and I'm not going to keep them from her. She's been trying to act all warm and fuzzy, like she's rebuilding the big connection with them. Last Saturday, her sister was in town and dropped by to see the kids. She spilled the tea about ex-wife's life and it's a train wreck. That rich boyfriend was a total sleaze. She caught him messing around with younger models, plural. When she called him out, he shrugged and said, "It's business, babe. Get over it." Also turns out he wasn't any big shot as he was claiming to be. Produces some cheap music albums. Then it gets worse. She says he hit her, once or twice, and made it clear he was never marrying her. She swears up and down she dumped him and moved back to the city, but I'm not buying it. Sounds like he kicked her to the curb when he got bored. Now she's back here, trying to play the good mom who came back for them. My health's better than it's been in years, thanks to those surgeries and sticking with therapy. The gym's been a lifesaver too. I'm not ripped or anything, but I can toss my daughter in the air again without wincing. Karma might have taken its sweet time, but it's showing up. I'm focused on my kids, my health, and that house I'm going to buy. Maybe I'll even throw in a tree house for my kids. Why not, right? I'll drop another update if anything wild happens. Thanks for sticking with me, y'all. Your ex trying to swoop in for a cut of your money after everything she pulled? That's rich, literally and figuratively. Glad your lawyer shut that down quick. She made her choices, and it looks like they came back to bite her hard. Life is a funny way of balancing the scales sometimes, even if it takes longer than we'd like. If your ex came crawling back after all this, what would your response be? Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.